Hi, my name is Martin Fahn, and I'm a solutions architect with Calogic Software, and welcome to another DPX video in our demo series. So in this video, we're going to be demonstrating NDMP backups to disk media using Calogic DPX. This slide depicts how NDMP backups can work and really depends on where the destination device or tape library is connected. So if I want to protect data from a NAS device to a locally attached tape library, what I can do is a high-speed or local backup NDMP-based dump to that tape library. If I were wanting to back up data from a NAS that didn't have a tape library attached to it, I could either back it up through another NDMP node or NAS device which does have a tape library attached, what's called a three-way or remote backup, or I can back it up to a tape library connected to an open system server, either a Windows, Linux, or Unix machine, through a filer to server backup. Now, this tape library destination can be a physical tape library, it could be a virtual tape library, or it can be a special device type within DPX called disk directory, which we'll be discussing in more detail in the demonstration. So with that, let's get started and take a look at the environment that we'll be working in. So once again, as you can see, I'm virtualizing my DPX Enterprise. In this case, I am virtualizing my DPX master server as well as an NDMP device. So this NDMP NAS is going to be running NetApp Data ONTAP 7 mode. And I've already presented up some CIFS shares. I'm going to be doing a filer to server backup of that NAS device to some destination tape device connected to my master server in this demonstration. So jumping to my master server, let's open up the management console. We'll see how we have the NAS devices configured. You can see I have the NetApp array scanned into my enterprise with an access method of type NDMP. Now there are various ways in which we can back up the data from that net device, and the backup type can be defined within my enterprise configuration. The most flexible being dump methodology, in which case I can dump a volume, a folder, or a snapshot directly to a destination tape or disk device. The other backup type is SN tape, which allows me to perform a snap mirror to tape of the entire volume to a tape or disk device. I would use one or the other depending on my recovery needs. Dump is more for archival purposes, whereas SN tape would be more for disaster recovery purposes if I ever need to recover an entire volume. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and define a backup job for the contents of that NAS device. In this case, my backup type is going to be an NDMP backup, where on the left-hand side I can drill down into that net device, and you can see here I have a volume, a CIFS share presented out with some small files on it. I can do an NDMP based dump of a folder or the entire volume to some destination device cluster. Now let's talk about destination devices, because this is where we can define a physical tape library, a virtual tape library, or disk-based media that can be configured directly within DPX. So if I jump back to my configure tab here, I can configure this special disk directory media and device type. So in my configure devices screen, I actually have a device cluster set up, which is going to be reserved for my NDMP backups. And you can see here I have a device type of type disk directory, which is actually a folder location that resides on my master server. So C:disk directory is where my backups are going to be going. Now alternatively, I could have specified a UNC path for this device ID destination. So whack NetApp some CIFS export, let's say, or a different drive letter. In this case, I'm just going to back up to a folder on my C drive, so that's how I would go about configuring a disk directory device type. And then under my configure media section, I would just go ahead and define a media pool and media types, media volumes of that same disk directory type. So you can see here I have a NDMP media pool with about 10 tapes within that media pool that I can use as my virtual tapes backup targets. So jumping back into my NDMP backup, I can go ahead and now define my backup of that sys volume. So go ahead and dump the entire sys volume, and I can specify my NDMP media pool that I've created, and my NDMP device cluster of both type disk directory that live on my master server. Now I can specify different media pools and device clusters based off of the type of run. So I can define a base run to use physical tapes, or let's say an incremental run to use these virtual disk directory type tapes. Okay, I'm just going to keep them both the same for this demonstration, and go ahead and run and monitor this job. So I'll give it a job name, and we'll call it NetApp Sim. Now I can define the type of run that I want to perform, base, incremental, or differential. I'll just run this as a base, keep the data on tape for 30 days. And if I open up a Windows Explorer view and open up that C drive on my master server, I should see a disk directory folder created. And as it goes through and mounts a tape for my NDMP based backup, you should see a new tape being created, which is essentially a file on that file system, and that tape should grow in size as we write sequential data to it, as if we were writing data to a physical tape device. So what we're doing is we're putting the volume in an NDMP backup dump mode. We're passing through that dump. We're leveraging very efficient sorting algorithms in order to parse through that dump and merge all that metadata back into the master server. So this directory, or this volume, was relatively small, right? We backed up about 20 meg of data as part of this NDMP based backup. So now to restore, I would just need to go into my restore tab and select NDMP as my restore type. I can drill down into the nodes that I had backed up, which is my NetApp VAS here, and I can see the different recovery points for that NDMP based backup. And if I drill down into that recovery point, I see what was protected within that volume during that time. And I can simply select the files or folders that I want to recover here on the left hand side, and on the right hand side select the destination where I want to recover that data to. Now because I did back up this data from an NDMP or NAS node, I will need to restore it to a NAS server. So I can just simply drill down into my NetApp and create a new volume location in or directory in vol sifs. We'll call it test restore, and provide it with some date. And now as I run and monitor this restore job, go ahead and delete that job when finished. As I run and monitor that restore job, you can see DPX going through the catalog, verifying the contents of where to find this data on tape, and mounting up that tape. So let me just, so it knows that the data resides on NDMP02. I'm going to map my CIF share, and you can see my test restore folder being created at the time of restore. If I drill down into it, I can see the data that has been restored from my restore selection. So that concludes the NDMP video demonstration. In this video, we talked about ways and different mechanisms in which we support NDMP-based backups, either through high-speed local backup to physical or virtual tape media, or in this case, filer-to-server backup to physical or virtual tape media in the form of a disk directory device attached to our master server. We recommend that you check out our other videos on YouTube, and if you have any questions, please visit our website at www.calogicsoftware.com. Thank you for your time and attention.